don't do it. It's a waste of time and money, basically. That's all you need to know. You can go ahead and click out of this video now, because that's literally that's literally it. No, I'm just kidding. I'm totally kidding. What's up, you guys? I felt inspired today to do a video about what I wish I knew before going to college. I'm in college right now. I am a freshman still. I don't have that many credits because I started college a year ago when I was almost 19 years old. I'm 19 now, but I started a year ago, basically right before I turned 19. I started college in the spring semester because that's a whole other story in and of itself. But I go to community college. Not picking my nose. Okay. Go to community college. And I'm not gonna tell you where I go because it's confidential. But this video is not to say that, like, fuck college and I'm fucking counterculture, fuck government and social norms, you know what I'm saying? Even though that all of that is true, I do think that there's a time and place for college. Now, that may not be here and that may not be now, but there is a time and place. People said to me, you know, before I went to college that it wasn't for everybody. You know, they weren't specifically talking to me, although they fucking should have been. But I would hear that phrase all the time, like, you know, college isn't for everyone. And I never really understood what that meant, because I thought that everyone should go to college whether or not they want to or think that they should, because it would better your life no matter what. Like, if you have a college degree, then your life is automatically gonna be a lot easier and you're gonna make a lot more money and, you know, whatever. A year into college, and I've learned that that is just not the case. It can be the case depending on what you want to go into, but, you know, if you're like me and you know you are not good in the sciences or math department, you don't want to be a teacher, you don't want to be a doctor or a lawyer, or something that you, like, obviously need a degree to pursue, and, you know, you really don't know what you want to go into, and maybe you're, like, super creative and innovative and motivated, but you just don't know what you want to go into, and you know you want to work hard, but you don't know what to work hard at. I would suggest actually putting off college until you really know what you want to do, because this brings me to my first point. Sometimes the debt just is not worth it. So if you are taking classes and you don't get financial aid, you don't have a scholarship, and you're working and paying for college all on your own, you are doing good by going to school and, like, continuing your education, don't get me wrong, but sometimes I think more often than not that you will find sometimes the debt just isn't worth it. And I think a lot of people will say that, although they might be super happy in their careers and, you know, didn't regret college at all, which most people don't regret going to college, but there are a lot of people who don't have jobs in their degree or the thing that they went to college for, which that can be a whole other problem, but ultimately it's just money wasted. And college debt is, like, it's crazy. I know a lot of doctors who are are very successful making the money that they want to be making, but they're, you know, in their 30s and 40s and sometimes 50s and still don't have their debt paid off, which is honestly like so insane. When we're young, we just don't really realize what debt truly is. And college debt is one of the biggest things, but one of the biggest debts that Americans have to pay back. It also doesn't always equal success for everyone. Now, I think there's a common misconception with a lot of people who think that you need to have a college degree to make any kind of good money in life or be the successful, or have the kind of success that you want. I will say that that's just not true. A lot of people who don't have a college degree and are making more money than people with degrees. So, and I think that that's like a known fact now. Before it wasn't very known. Like when I was a senior in high school, you know, all my friends were going to college and my parents really wanted me to go, and you know, your school counselors and your teachers and everybody is just always talking about college and how you can get scholarships and where you should go and all that kind of stuff. So it's a very large pressure for seniors in high school and, you know, just high school students in general. I remember my freshman year of high school, my counselor was asking me like what I was thinking of doing for a career, and I was like, how can I even know that right now? Like, that's such a crazy question, and I still don't know. I'm coming to terms with, you know, that part of my life. That's a whole different video. And a lot of people who are in college or freshmen in college don't know what they want to do, and that's perfectly okay. It's perfectly normal. But if you are an innovative, creative, motivated person who doesn't know what they want to do, I would honestly opt out. And that's crazy, and I know that's like scary to think about, but just from my perspective, school really does kill your creativity. It really, really does. And I can wholeheartedly say that I will, if I do have kids, which I hope that I do in the future, they will absolutely not be going to traditional school, because it completely kills all creativity and just the concept of sitting still in the classroom trying to pay attention to things that you don't care about for 6 hours a day is like the biggest waste of life and time, in my opinion. And I went through it, so I can say that, you know, I went through all my years of school, my elementary, middle, and high school. I was sitting in the classroom. If you are in college right now, maybe you're in your freshman year, or you're in high school thinking about going to college, before you schedule your classes, always check Rate My Professor. Check out your professor ratings. I found Rate My Professor to be extremely accurate. You can have a lot of complications with trying to get out of that class, and the last thing you want is to be stuck in there or have to withdraw, because that doesn't look very good on any transcript. I don't care how good you are at English or how good you are at math. If the professor sucks, it's gonna ruin your time. You're not gonna want to go to class. You're not gonna want to do as well. Put in the work that you would have if you actually liked the class and liked the professor. If the professor has lower than 3.0 rating, I would choose a different one, just from my experience. Yeah. A lot of community colleges are like, they have no Greek life at all, and a lot of people commute back and forth. There's all age groups of people taking classes. What I'm trying to say is that it's a lot harder to connect with people and to make friends at a community college than a 4-year university. But that's not to say that it's impossible. What I would recommend is that you try to get involved as much as possible, even though you probably don't want to, because people, let's face it, people at community college are a lot of times whack. Find clubs that you're interested in, join clubs, go to sporting events, go to events that your school puts on, because what's the worst that can happen? You show up, have a terrible time, and you know what, that'll probably happen, to be honest. So maybe not. And as for a major or course of study, you probably change your mind at least once, if not a few times, and that is okay. It's okay to change your major. It's okay to change your mind about anything. So if you think that, you know, maybe your major is not for you, don't keep taking those classes. Don't think that it's like set in stone, because you can change it at any time. You know, you are the one who's going to be living out that major and having a career in that field. So you want to make sure that that's exactly what you want to do for the rest of your life. Apply for scholarships. This one, a lot of people don't like to, just because they think that it's like a lot of work and takes a lot of time and more effort and blah blah blah, but honestly, it's not that much work. It takes maybe a few hours to write an essay, and there's so many scholarships that you can apply for, and there's thousands of dollars that go to waste every single year because people don't apply for scholarships. So just get in touch with your school's financial aid office. They can give you all the information that you need for your school's scholarship opportunities. And yeah, I would just, because a lot of times how it works is you just have to write 1 or 2 essays, and those get submitted to several different scholarship. Believe me, just save yourself the hassle of student debt. I've never used these websites before, but I know that there's a ton of websites out there where you can apply for different scholarships that aren't connected to your school, and you have to write like separate, you do have to write separate essays for those, but a lot of times they are a lot more money. Just make sure that you do your research beforehand and look carefully to those websites. So yeah, just take that with a grain of salt. It's probably always better just to apply through your school. It's just a better, secure way to do it, but I know that there's so many opportunities. Don't do an 8 a.m. unless you are for sure a morning person, feeling like real saucy that day, and you're like, oh yeah, I'm gonna sign up for this 8 a.m. class. I'm gonna get up early every Monday and Wednesday for this class, and I'm just gonna, you know, knock it out right early in the day. I'll have the whole rest of the day to do whatever. But if you know that you have trouble getting up in the morning, or you like to party at night, I would honestly just just not. Just don't do it. I think that taking more than 12 credits, it starts to hinder my GPA and just my overall like level. I like to keep the stress levels low if I can. I'm not someone who's like, oh, I want to get done with college as fast as possible, so I'm gonna take like 20 credits this semester. Like, that's just not realistic for me. It's not very doable. I'm okay with taking 12 credits because that's a full load, 12 credits. At least for my school anyways. Anything less is like, I want to say underwhelming. Anything less than 12 credits, I don't feel like it's worth driving 30 minutes to school. I would also advise against taking more than 2 classes a day. You have 3 classes in a day, 3 or more classes in a day, that can get very, very stressful, and it's just not a good situation to be in. And give yourself an hour or more in between those classes so that you can eat, gather your thoughts, brain. Your frontal lobe cortex can only hold so much information at one time. So you want to give yourself a chance to internalize everything. Well, that is all my tips. I want to give hugs for my thugs and kisses for my bitches. Bye, guys.